Right, from the Susan Fairfax City, we are very grateful that member of Dean Gray accepted our invitation to our show. Guys, welcome to my humble podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go back to
Pleasure
the
to be on.
beginning. Whoever want to answer, that's fine. Any of you came from a musical family? How did you start in music to begin? Where were you, your parent put you in guitar lesson, piano lesson, when you were a little kid, any kind of stuff like that?
I feel like there is a short answer and a long answer, and mine is the short answer. No,
Go for it.
no musical, no family members doing any music. I just picked up a guitar, and now I'm here.
Wow. Were you in any band when you were in high school?
Yeah. Like I think it's the same with both of us. So
Yeah.
I joined the band, created the band in middle school, and that was everything I wanted to do, and started studying music after. Met Oskar and Håkon and Ian, and eventually Christian. And it was later I joined the band, but I met the guys during studying music.
Gotcha.
And been part of a number of different musical ensembles. And yeah, that's the short answer.
Yeah. What about you,
Yeah.
Oscar?
Yeah, my father is a musician. He's a singer in a band called Fralipalippi, and would always play the piano and sing at home, and I would sit on his lap and sort of soak it in. So I started taking piano lessons at 6. I did it for a while, but it was this very lovely but also very strict old lady, and I had to practice for 30 minutes a day, and it was pretty rigid classical music. And I stopped for a while, and then I started figuring things out when I was a teenager, just noodling around on the piano, and I started trying to write some songs on my own and produce a little bit using Logic. And that was my gateway into doing music more or less full time.
What about you? By the way, you guys speak very good English. Well, like many countries in Europe, right? You learn English when you are a little kid. I mean, it's like you go to an immerse program, you learn Norwegian and then English at the same time, or how you?
Yeah. We started learning English in school when we were about 7, I think.
Yeah, I think also the thing with Norway that, like, after you pass the children movie stage of your life, nothing is dubbed in Norway, so we're constantly exposed to English, and like the best way to learn a language is to hear the language.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I have interviewed so many people from your country. It's unbelievable, and I thought, I'm serious. I don't know. I need to look at the list, but at least 20, 25, or 30. And I thought, well, why I'm not interviewing with people from Norway or Denmark? And somebody explained to me that you guys have several musical school, and you were like, I don't know, like 14, 15. They sort of divide you into either you want to go the science path and you take math or calculus, physics, that kind of chemistry, or you go to more the artistic side. You can go into, I think, writer as a musician, and you have several musical school. Is that correct? Is that safe to say or not?
I think you're talking about our high school system.
Yeah.
Where yeah, you're able to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Oscar, if I misinterpreted, but
No, I think you're right.
yeah, when you finish middle school or during the last semester of middle school, you choose which kind of high school you wanna attend.
Yeah.
And music is one of them. Not many, but I believe at least one or a handful in every what's the word in English? Like, talking about English, and now I've forgotten the word of fylke.
Oh, region?
Region.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
In every region, I believe you'll find a handful of music, or at least high schools that have a music uh, like as a main subject in their curriculum.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, this I say, I have no idea, but a lot of having to be a musician for your country. And Dean Gray being described between the lines of chamber, pop, progressive, atmospheric folk, with a sound that feel comfortable, familiar, and intriguing at the same time. How you describe your music to begin with? Because the latest album is very different, in my opinion, to the previous two. But how you guys describe your music? Now in Indiana, Oscar, you go for a beer and then you say, "I'm a musician." And how's your music about? How you tell me?
Yeah, no, you used a lot of good words to describe it, really. But yeah, atmospheric rock, maybe some alternative rock, some alternative pop. Yeah, chamber pop is one that we often use. Of course, there are some progressive elements, folk elements. And we like to blend influences from different areas and try to combine them into something that feels unique and cohesive. And so we do struggle to fit in with an established genre. We like to cross into several.
Yeah. Well, you gotta do at the end what makes you happy, right? So if you go all the way to progressive, some people in the alternative rock they say, "Hey, I don't like that." And vice versa, something in the middle, right? So what you gotta do but you like what you're happy and run with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you guys came from different places in Norway, and both musically and geographically, and you met when you were attending the university. I think you were going for the equivalent of a bachelor in musical studies or something like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, most of us met at the same university. All of us attended the university. Christian went there, or studied there before the rest of us joined in. But yeah, like Tom is from Bergen, which is in western Norway, while Oscar and Christian is from a region south of Oslo. Is that and I'm from a different place again, and Håkon is from again a different place. So none of us are from Oslo, but we met in Oslo, and most of us live in Oslo now.
Gotcha. And then when you finished high school, you were 17, 18-year-old. Obviously you show interest in music, and you were playing in some bands in high school, listen to a lot of music. Any pressure for your parents? Hey, forget about music. You're not going to make any money. It's a crazy lifestyle. Go study medicine, become an engineer, go to law school, whatever. Or you were free to pick whatever you wanted to do in your life.
I was pretty free. Yeah, they told me they didn't want me to be a musician, but I think that's just encouraged. Like I interpreted that as encouragement to become a musician, because it's what your parents do rather than what they say, isn't it? And they were always, from I was little, they sent me to piano lessons, and my father bought me a drum kit at a certain point, and like they wanted me to be a musician, I think, deep down, even if they said the opposite.
That's right.
Yeah,
what about you?
Same, yeah, it's the same with me. Like I'm fortunate enough to have a mom that, like, she rarely questions, or at least when I was growing up, she rarely questioned what I wanted to do. Like she trusted me with if I wanted to go to this high school with the music speciality. I could. And when I told her I wanted to study music, she said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." Not as nonchalantly as I've made it sound now, but yeah, she supported me through it. Bought my first instrument and all that. So yeah, no pressure there from my Persian mom to study medicine, which I think many other Persian dads and moms can do.
That's good for you. And the first album was released obviously some years ago, and it's called Flown. It's a concept record with different element that structure for one continuous story. The album relate a vivid tale of loss and loneliness and that kind of stuff. What was the motivation to write that type of lyrics? Were you? I think at Oscar you will writing. You were one of the main songwriter. Is that correct? Plus,
Yeah, it's Håkon and I who wrote most of the songs.
yeah,
Flown. That was a long. It's a rather long story.
yeah. Go for it. Go for it, man.
Yeah, we started the band early in 2013.
Right.
So that's a long time ago. And then it was Håkon, Tom, and I, and our old bass player called Robin. And yeah, we started writing music, played some gigs, released an EP, and we recorded an album in 2015. That included some of the songs that would eventually make it to Flown. But overall, we were a little bit disenchanted about the album. We didn't feel like it was strong enough. We never actually finished it. And then we went on a hiatus for 2 years where we didn't really play together that much. But then we decided, let's have a crack at making this album and making it properly. So we started probably in 2017 making it, and most of the songs, Håkon was sort of the main songwriter back then. He wrote most of the music. I wrote quite a lot of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Tom wrote some lyrics as well. But they're mainly Håkon songs. But I produced the album, and so it's this weird. It's a long journey. So some of the songs were with us for like 8 years or 7 years before we released them. So they took on many shapes. But yeah, and lyrically, a lot of the songs early on were about loneliness probably, and loss. I feel like Flown is a pretty cohesive album, which is strange because it covers such a huge period of time. But we had a lot of time to sort of make it right, and yeah, I'm very very proud of Flown.
Good for you. How difficult was to actually record that one? You was a self-release, or you went to a record label, or is it
Yeah.
easy or difficult to at the beginning at the time convince a record label to take a chance on you guys? Feel free to describe that.
Well, both Flown and Shards actually
Yeah.
they're both self-released.
Okay. Yeah.
We got so Firmament, our second album, was released on Big Big Train's record label called English Electric. But we have more or less the same sort of system in place now on Shards that we had on English Electric. It's the same people helping us out. We just retain a little bit more control.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think it's easier than ever releasing your music yourself. You
Yeah.
have distribution services and a lot of independent printing places and stuff. So you need to shell out a little bit of money, but it's absolutely doable. And yeah, we have also been in touch with other labels. We have had some that have been interested in signing us, but it hasn't been the right fit. So, and when it's not the right fit, I think it's just better to do it yourself.
Good. How you determine, assuming that you will do just CDs and vinyl, how do you determine the amount that you wanna create prints before it goes to a distributor, or you pretty much do that on demand? You do, I don't know, 500 CDs just to put a number there, and 500 vinyl, and then you say, well, if we run out, then it's a good idea that we should create another 1,000 or whatever. How would you determine how many will you could sell, you think?
Now we come to the difficult questions.
Yeah, well, I asked difficult question, man.
I'm not sure actually. Like we get a lot of help from our manager,
Yeah,
which has experience with this, and I would like to also give an extra shout out to our drummer, to Tom, who
yeah,
often deals with these areas of the band.
yeah,
Which I'm really glad that I haven't had to do do that
yeah,
part of the work. So I don't have a definite answer, and some of it is like just guessing. I think not to diminish the work that anyone does, but you can't ever be sure of how many you're gonna sell, or at least not in our at our stage. Like, are we gonna sell 50, or are we gonna sell 200? Are we gonna sell 500? Uh, I could not have told you a couple of months ago what amount of vinyls or CDs we should print, and I don't think I can
yeah,
say any number now either.
No.
yeah. The reason I was asking the question is I'm going to be an executive producer for some record for some people here in the US, and well, several are very famous, and we need to figure out the same answer, right? We do it on our own. We go to a record label. Nowadays, record labels don't do anything. Anything. Once the record is great, we'll do promotion, PR, social media, stuff like that. But we will gamble and then do the math. But we will, I don't know, maybe release 1,000 CDs, 1,000 vinyl, and then take it from there. I think if the music is great and it's great produced, and you have social media behind you, my theory is that we will sell that amount fast. And then if you make a lot of noise, in the market, a record label should pick you up, right? At the beginning, a record label would not take the risk. But if the demand is there for your music, a record label will approach you, or will be a lot easier to approach a record label that you want and say, hey, we sell X number in 4 weeks. We are going to be touring. We are opening for, in your case, Marillion or the and so on, so forth. Our album has great reviews, and so on, so forth. So you can make the argument to go for something bigger, and then maybe 5,000 instead of 1,000. My hypothetical number. That's what you see. But at the end, on the other side, record label is not what it used to do, right? So you do everything on your own anyway. So why you should get paid 70 cents of a dollar going to, or even no, for a record label, if you can get 90 cents of the dollar, 100%. So you sell more, you keep more, right? So of course you need to
Yeah.
pay. So that's it's an idea that is going in my head for the other stuff that I'm doing on the side as well. And then so you finished the first record, yeah. You put it out there. What happened after that? What was the next step for you guys? Were you able to tour at the time a little bit with a record?
No, because this was in June 2020.
Yeah. Oh,
So yeah, first months of the pandemic.
yeah.
Which is a terrible time to release a record.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, we'd been working on it so long, so we just needed to get it out. We played one release show
Yeah.
October that same year. That was all the gigging we did that year. But then we got in touch with, well, our manager, Nick Shilton, who's also Big Big Train's manager. And he convinced us to like press physical copies of our record because we hadn't done that.
Yeah.
And then by some chance, but yeah, well, he got in touch with some people and also a photographer that we worked with, Anne Marie Forker. She's the photographer for Marillion. So those two knew some people, so we were able to get a support slot for Marillion in Sweden in May 2021, and that was also Milad and Chris's first weekend with the band. We had one gig before that as well, just the day before, and that was huge for us. That Marillion gig was for like 1,500 people or something in Sweden, and they loved it, and we got a great reception. And one thing led to another, and suddenly we were supporting BB Train, and we got another Marillion support slot and another BB Train tour. So we got to play quite a lot across Europe for for their audiences.
Gotcha. All right.
So that was huge for us. Wait, it was 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't want to abrupt you.
Yeah. So in the meantime, we made our second album.
That's right. That was my next question. So
Yeah.
so if you were touring with, for Marillion and BBT, right, Big Good Train, that opened a lot of, you were kind of people all over the world getting to know your music, and it was enough ammunition to go to studio, right, and record the second album, right? So you end up releasing Firmament, and then it has a lot of tracks there as well. So it opened more door. It's fair to say that releasing the second album after being, opening for Big Big Train and maybe open a lot more door for you guys to, tour and make progress into the music as well and open more venues for you music.
Yeah, it probably did. It came at a great time. The album was released at the same
Yes.
time as we played our first support gig with BB Train. So yeah, but the entirety of 2021 was actually just spent making Firmament.
Right.
So I jumped the gun a bit. I skipped the lockdown and just went straight to the gigs. But yeah, we made that album in between.
And the funny thing is, thinking of where you played the release gig for Flown compared to where we played the release gig for Firmament.
Yeah.
Like we with the tour with Big Big Train, the first one, the day the second album Firmament was released, we played with Big Big Train at Waterside Theatre in Aylesbury, which was amazing. I think one of the best venues, one of the greatest venues I've ever played in, at least.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then obviously, as I said before, that opened more doors for you guys. In general term, how difficult is to make a living as a musician? You have other jobs as well, or pretty much music is your full-time job daily?
For me, music has been a full-time job more or less for the last year.
Yeah, I got it.
But
So
before that, I've been teaching piano, and I still teach a little bit, and I'm probably going to be teaching more in the future.
yeah.
But yeah, I give piano lessons as well. And
What
the other guys
yeah.
in the band,
Go ahead.
all have jobs.
Yeah. So what about you, Milad? You also got a day job and you do music on the evenings, weekends, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I teach at a middle school. I teach music for 200 students every year. and
Yeah.
love it. Like I actually wanted to become a teacher before I wanted to become a musician, which is a weird thing to say. I remember being a child. My mom is a teacher, and I wanted to do that too. And now I only teach music, and I
Yep.
play music on the side, and somehow my everyday is music. Somehow, either I entertain people with my guitar, or I entertain people with a whiteboard, and hopefully teach them something. And the school I teach at is great. Allows me to, if I have a show on a day, the school is open. There's no problem to get a substitute or anything. So it's and I know that I can afford dinner the next month.
It's difficult to be a teacher, man, nowadays. With all the kids, and at least here in the United States, with all the technology and iPad and computers and phone, kids get distracted. I don't know. It's a different time, different period of life, man. You know, everybody's connected to devices, and so it's difficult. You know, so
yeah, there are certain challenges, but that's a great thing with teaching music, which is just an hour a week for each student.
I see.
After that hour, like I can like push them aside, and other people can tend to them the rest of the week.
Yeah, I got to know. I know what you mean. And of course, as you mentioned before, Oscar, you at the time in 2022, you end up supporting Marillion on the weekend in Stockholm, and then at the time Oscar, you joined Big Train on keyboards at the time, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, in 2022. Yeah.
Gotcha. The latest album, Charts, that was released actually today, the 30th, like a month ago exactly. It's a great album, and delivered a collection of widescreen, emotionally charged tracks with lush texture arrangement, a lot of energy. It's a very, very good album, man.
Thank you.
Very good. Feel free to elaborate on what was the process of putting together that, because I think that album will make, with my humble opinion, I'm not a musician. I just happen to like music, but it will open a lot of doors for you. I mean, it should be like before and after period of your life. If one day you guys are very young, you look back 10 years from now into, I don't know, 30, 20, 35, you'll say, man, that album really took it to the next place, if you will, because it's a very, very good album, right?
I'm crossing all my toes and fingers right now.
Yeah, no, it should. Now, the hard part is what is coming, right? So, what you do with the success, right? How you promote your music. Obviously, you need to do a lot of social media, PR, and reach out to more people, right? You go like at a stair, right? You go to step number 2, yeah, it's a lot of work to 3, and then for 3 to 4. So it's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you have to do to promote your music. But I think it's a lot easier when the record is great, right? It's very difficult if the album is not that great, right? Because people are not going to attend the show, right? And nobody will, a venue in Oslo will say, why should we book you if only your friend, your cousin, you marry them, your dad and mom will attend the show, right? But that album, I think it should open a lot more door. And I don't know if before you used to have, I don't know, 200 people that were attending the show, whatever number happens to be now, they're going to be a lot more. And I saw the reviews for Sid's Mix, from the reviews from Sonic's perspective, from Prog magazine, and everybody is talking about your album, man. So
yeah, we've gotten a lot of great reviews. It's really good to get so positive feedback like from yourself. It makes it you work, or at least the way we work. We've been working on this record for quite a long time and very intensively. So Actually, it's a bit surreal to have other people have listened to it
Yeah,
and give feedback, positive or negative. It's just it really helps
yeah.
mentally. We're just yeah, it's out now. You can relax and shift your focus.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Uh,
being new in the band as well. Like this is the first record I'm part of. The same with Christian, our bassist, and I was curious about how people would receive the album,
Mm.
or would this become like the one where oh the new
Mm.
guys ruined Tim Gray?
So, so when Oscar come back from the United States, right? Uh, Go back to your country, Norway, and what the strategy behind what you want to do in? We are in March. Oscar will come back at the end of April, whatever. What the strategy that you guys put in place to start touring, start reaching out to venues, trying to play, be a headliner for your own gig or play with other band? What during the summer? What the strategy you got behind to take it to the next step now? Now you have that great album out there.
Well, we do have this Marillion related gig in June,
In June, yeah.
which just to be clear is not us supporting Marillion, but is us playing at the kickoff party for the Marillion weekend.
Gotcha.
With infringements. Looking forward to that gig.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of booking shows, and we've been in the midst of it the past couple of or 3-4 months actually for some shows in the autumn, and we don't have anything ready to reveal yet, but there are hopefully stuff that will become more concrete for autumn or early winter.
yeah, we
Gotcha.
made this record with playing live very much in mind. Firmament was more of a sort of lockdown record, and when we got gigs around the time we released Firmament and after it, we were actually struggling a little bit with like making a full set of songs because a lot of the Firmament songs were so introverted, and so we wanted to make an album now that was really where pretty much all of the songs would really translate in a live setting. And we've tried playing the album live, and it really works, the entire thing. So that's very cool.
Gotcha. And then, Milad, you say, well, looking for venues toward the end of the year. That's going to be like in just Norway or in Europe or
Well,
both?
Norway and UK especially, and then we're looking
UK?
at venues in. I'm sure it's no problem saying some country names. Or what, like Netherlands and Germany. We hope to return to.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah,
We had a great time at
yeah.
when we toured with Big Train, and there are. We want to return to every place we played at, but some places are closer to Norway than
Of course,
others.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so the UK and Netherlands, Germany, and Norway, or Scandinavia, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, so eventually you will, when you have concrete plan, people will go to your website and say we playing September 12th here, September 14th there, and something more than. My understanding for people to come here to the United States and play is very, very expensive, right? I think you need like a working visa, working permit, and it's
It's
not cheap. It's very expensive, right? So,
very expensive, extremely expensive. Yeah, I I tear up whenever I hear what Big Train had to pay just for the visas coming here.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
So you need to have X number of shows, X number of tickets sold in order to even break even. No, even sometimes not even make money, but break even.
Yeah, and the
Uh,
difficult part is economically it doesn't make sense for us to play, for example, one show in Germany a weekend, and then go home and then play another show in Germany another weekend. Just the traveling cost would negate any
profit that you
any profit. Yeah. So the difficult part is not just find venues that we can play at, but also finding multiple venues we can play at during the same short span of time. And like transport and gear, and I'm getting a tear in my eye as well, Oscar, thinking of it.
Yeah,
it's tough. But on the other hand, you have no choice, right? You were born as a musician. That's what you like to do, right? So as long as, I suppose, easy for me to say, but as long as you don't lose that much money, or you can break even and be on the road for, I don't know, make a little bit of money and be on the road for 3 weeks or whatever, that's great. But I imagine that when you play in a city, let's say you mentioned Germany, you have merchandise and CDs, buying on T-shirt that you can, that's where the money is for you guys, right? You are not going to get that much per the gig, but if you sell, I don't know, 100 CDs, whatever, and 100 vinyl, some T-shirts, and that's where the profit, the money comes to you guys to take you to the next gig and pay the hotel or whatever, and then from there to the next one, and so forth, which many bands end up doing.
Yeah, merch is vital. I mean, for BB Train, for instance, that's the reason why we can tour. It's because we sell a lot of merch.
Yeah,
and some merch is also a lot more easier to make and sell for a profit than others. Vinyl is not very practical. It's very expensive to press. So the profit margin is almost non-existent. But CDs, for instance, and T-shirts and stuff are good to sell.
Yeah, you can take pictures. People can motivation for the people on all the other side, the audience that attend your show, and you can take a picture with the band and you sign the CDs. And people like me that like to collect stuff like that is a great way, and you guys can make a little bit of money.
And we're fortunate that the type of audience we've become a part of through us supporting Marillion and Big Train, etc. That's an audience, a very loyal audience, but also an audience that wants to support the bands, the artists. They buy merch, they listen at the concerts. Like, that's a crazy thing to say, but they actually attend the concert to listen to the concert, not to talk to each other. So I feel very fortunate with what kind of audience we've attracted through the bands we've been fortunate enough to support.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing, like, in the United States we'll call it crowdfunding or GoFundMe, where fans all over the world can say, hey guys, we want to create a new record in, let's say, 2025. It will cost us 20 grand to do it, whatever the number, and people all over the world can pay, I don't know, $100 each or whatever the folks could afford, and the way you will collect money, and in return you will, they will get access to prior, the music, or extra music or extra things, because they contribute $100 each or something. Have you thought about that? It's practical to do that kind of stuff?
We have thought about it, yeah. It's something we've discussed many times, actually. Also, like a Patreon thing, which could be a monthly thing. I'm for it, actually. I think it could be a good thing for the next album.
But nowadays, with a lot of the band I have interviewed, they do that kind of stuff, and because, like Milad says, you have like a loyal fan, and people from Big Train like your music, and people from Marino like your music, and they can help out. I'm willing to help out if you tell me, okay, if everybody contribute $100 for the next record, happy to help. So I'm always gonna help artists and help musicians, and it's not that I'm very aware that it's very difficult to make a living as a musician. So for in the latest album, I think from Myopia, which is a great track, featured the eminent Norwegian singer. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Barin.
Yeah, Vorin or
How you pronounce it in your own language?
Vorin.
Okay, I got it. Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I didn't know who she was, so I looked her up, and I sent her an email yesterday or the day before because I want to interview her. She got great voice, and you knew her. How you came across her, and it was deliberately that you said, "Hey, we need somebody else to, sing that particular track." Or
Yeah, I got to know her about a year and a half ago.
yeah,
On this, yeah, we both participated in this sort of mentoring program for
Mhm.
producers, and yeah, we became friends, and she is an amazing musician who I
Mm.
think works in a landscape that has a lot of similarities to what we do, even if it's a little bit more pop oriented than what we do.
Yeah,
Um, and we've been wanting to work with um, yeah, like a featured singer for quite a while, and and Tom suggested uh, that we should ask someone to sing Myopia, and I thought, Warren could be a very good fit,
yeah,
and I think it works really well. She has this very interesting timbre, a vibrato thing that I think complements my voice in a nice way.
yeah. And it's great. It's a great track, man. I have listened to actually the whole album several times in the last 3 days when I was emailing back and forth with Milan, and we arranged a date, and it's a great album. No, yeah, of course that song it's it's well known, and she had a great, but in general, right? The I don't know, 7 or 8 of the song of Shard are about chain upheaval. Uh, it's a great, and I think Rock Magazine said that the album is very captivating. Once you play the whole album, I need to get the album. I just listened to that in either Spotify or Bandcamp, if I remember correctly. It's you don't want to stop. You want to listen for end to end, right? And it's a very good album, man. So uh,
Thank
although
you.
although right now you don't have that many views on Spotify, and I don't know how many millions of tracks that have loaded Spotify daily, so it's difficult for you to get noticed or make any money to begin with. You need to have like a million hits on Spotify to get a check for $10 to get a cup of coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a ripoff. That's a ripoff. But at least, how you guys do on Bandcamp? You guys do like kind of okay? I mean, I think 90 cents of the dollar go directly to the artist, right? Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's fair for. Go ahead, Oscar.
Yeah, no, Bandcamp is great. I love it. It's we've made an act like not a huge amount of money on it, but a significant amount on Bandcamp, much more than any other service out there. So it's very great. It's great for musicians who yeah, like ourselves, who are sort of in that um, we have some fans who are very dedicated, but not
Yeah,
a lot of total listeners, and that's I think that's a kind of a sweet spot for Bandcamp where you get people actually get to contribute a little bit back, and people can pay whatever they want. So sometimes they pay um, much more than the asking price just to support us, and that's very nice.
great. Yeah, okay, that's great. Where the name Dim Great? I know the meaning in English, but why you guys decided to pick that particular name? Or maybe
That
it's a
was just
secret story or
and
accident.
not very secret. No, we had a gig that we had to play.
Yeah,
Our first gig, just when the band was just a couple of months old, and we
yeah,
just needed to come up with a name kind of on the
yeah.
spot. And Håkon suggested Dim Grey, among a bunch of very bad names. And Dim Grey wasn't bad. It was sort of okay. It had a flow to it, and it sort of fit with the vibe of the early songs that we had. Uh, they were sort of melancholic and
Right.
a bit gloomy. So that it just fit with the name.
Yeah, as someone who only listened to Dim Grey before, like of course before joining, like I joined for the third album, and the soundscape of Dim Grey has become more colorful.
Yeah.
After the first album.
Yeah, gotcha. What's the recording process for you guys? I mean, you do music first, harmonies, lyrics, or all the above. You come out with
The recording
lyrics that
process.
without music. Yeah, in general. I mean, how you get together? I mean, you, Oscar, are you the type of guy that go to a supermarket, go for a bike, go for a walk, and ideas come to your head, and then you write it down, and then during the weekend you will ping Milan or the other guy say, hey, I have a couple of ideas, lyrically, some ideas for a song. Of course, you don't have the song yet or any harmonies, or you go the other way around. Milad, or he played piano, keyboards, or whatever, and then waiting for you, Oscar, to deliver some lyric for that kind of stuff. What's the creative process, if you will?
Yeah, so Håkon and I will typically make something just on our own, just alone. Typically that's how it happened, or how it's happened so far. We're trying to see if we can change up the process a little bit. But yeah, we'll typically work on our own, make a song sort of skeleton, have it done sort of 70-80% or something. Just a raw track, and then bring it to the others, and sometimes the melody and the form of the song and the lyrics are all very set, and it's just about trying to find a role for everyone. Other times it's more loose, and we can come up with additional parts and ideas. Sometimes one of us will write lyrics for the other person's songs, or vice versa. But very often some ideas will be sort of set. That's the song, and then we work from there.
I gotcha. And in terms of the recording, that you record the majority at home, and then toward the end you go to a recording studio and put everything together, and somebody will master or do the record all the stuff, and then somebody else will master the record, or you pretty much do everything on your own?
We recorded the drums with a sound engineer called Leif Johansson, the drums and the strings.
Yeah.
Everything else we actually did ourselves, including like the mixing and the mastering.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's the first thing.
Not ourselves, yourself.
Well, yeah, but yeah, so it's done in-house.
It's a very DIY album in the recording aspect, at least. Like as Oscar said, the drums needs a specific type of room and set of mics, and the strings as well. Well, the rest we did at our rehearsal space with a couple of different microphones that we own, more or less. And Oscar mixed and mastered the entire album, which is crazy to think about. But it sounds great.
Thanks.
Wow. Good for you. Yeah, good for you. I know it's very difficult to do that. I'm in the process of learning how to do that kind of stuff in Dolby Atmos and so forth, and it's something that interests me. So, owning some radio was great. Interviewing a lot of people was great. Seeing 50 shows a year or so at least is great. But I'm in the process of understanding what makes a great record. And of course, I know the basic. I mean, really technically. I mean, why you mic certain ways, right? Why drums are set up in a way? Why will drum perhaps will go to the left, not to the right? And the distance between mic is maybe 2 meters or 3 meters, and so I wanna understand the process, what make a great recording. So I'm going to be attending the Peter Gabriel studio in Bath and Abbey Road as well. And I'm going to be learning for a couple guys. So show me the stuff, and I don't know, maybe I will buy a studio. Very likely I will buy a studio in the UK, I say. So we'll see. It's something that interests me, though. To learn the technical side, because I'm going to be interviewing a lot of famous recording engineers, and I want to go over and ask them, more technical questions. How you mix and you master in a certain way the position of the mic, the drum, and so forth. So something that intrigues me. Because I will buy your record, right, and I will listen to the record, right, with my headphone. But I want to understand how it was done. It makes sense what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Something that I really want to do for my own benefit, right? I'm an engineer, so I have a lot of curiosity in my head.
Cool.
How things work.
Yeah.
So you're going. Sorry, go ahead.
We've certainly done a learn by doing kind of approach. The first time we recorded an album, we recorded the drums 3 times. We tried to do it twice ourselves first, and then we realized that we don't know how to do this, and we outsourced it to Life. But there's a lot of things that are easy to do yourself. If you got a decent sound interface and a decent mic or 2 decent mics, you can do a lot yourself.
Good for you. And you are going on June the 12th, it's Marillion Weekend Oslo, kickoff in Salt, Oslo. So quite sure you guys are looking forward to that, man. So
yeah.
That is the weekend that Marillion does is 3 days. They get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? And then you're playing on. I think they do the night before. You play on Thursday. Is that correct? If I remember correctly, when I have it, Marillion like to do that kind of stuff. So you will be on Thursday night, and then Marillion Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that sort of thing. Or?
I'm not sure what we're gonna do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, if we're able to attend, I think we'd love to. But our gig is the Thursday. Yeah,
the Thursday, the opening.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, good for you. Feel free to mention your website or your Bandcamp where people that are listening to this particular podcast, buy your music, support you, help you. Oskar mentioned that perhaps a Patreon may come down the road now that I mentioned that. Maybe.
Yeah,
so
it might
I can become
yeah.
a member and help out.
Yeah, we'll see. But basically, you can just Google Dim Grey, and once you pass all the colors, you'll the grey sleeves, you'll find us.
Dim Grey with an A.
Yeah, Dim Grey with an A.
Got it.
Our tag is usually Dim Grey Music.
Yeah, I will put the link as part of the description on the website. It was very nice talking to you guys. Good luck to you. I'm quite sure you will make it big, man.
Thank you.
In 10 years from now, you will look, man, that third album was big difference between going up or going down. I don't know, but it's a great album, man. You guys are doing great. Good luck to you. And I will say something in your own language. Tusen tack och lycka till.
Jo, tack. Tusen tack.
Muchas gracias.
No, thank you very much, Pela. Oskar Milad, it was very nice talking to you guys. Good luck to you, and let me know if anything else there I can do to help you guys. Happy to do it.
Good luck to you too, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claudia.
Take it easy, man.